Since the late 1900s, toxic waste left behind by industrial companies has been sinking deeper into Orange County groundwater. Sitting underneath Fullerton, Placentia, and Anaheim, the nearly 5-mile-long plume of synthetic degreaser, classified as volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, caught the attention of the EPA in 2020. Using past progress made by the Orange County Water District, they started working to create a general plan of action for the most contaminated area called the Interim Remedy. But that process could take up to a year.
OCWD started operating an extraction well in this area. One of the responsible parties, AC Products, they're over here, they have had 3 extraction wells. Other hotspot areas need to be addressed soon to contain the plume within this interim remedy polygon. Also, there's ultimately going to be potentially more work to address the rest of the plume outside of that polygon. Now, maybe that interim remedy is good enough. And it's like, you know, if what you contain in here, the rest will dissipate on its own. Or maybe, no, we need to do a little bit more. Or maybe by the time it gets out here, it's so deep, all you can do is, if a production well gets hit, put a treatment plant on that production well, wellhead treatment.
To make sure that doesn't happen, the EPA is putting 19 monitoring wells outside of the interim remedy, alongside Orange County Water District's 39. Some drinking water wells near the plume have low concentrations of VOCs, but well below strict California drinking water standards.
So you got all this clean water, maybe diluting that little bit of contaminated groundwater. So the bottom line is what comes out of the wellhead is below drinking water standards. So some production wells are so deep they're producing nothing but clean water.
While avoiding VOCs, the city of Fullerton found an entirely new pollutant in the groundwater, poly or perfluoral alcohol, otherwise known as PFAS, which can be found on some household items such as non-stick pans. The extent of its pollution is still being characterized, and a treatment plant has been built to clean an affected drinking water well. Sometime next year, another treatment well will be built on La Palma Avenue.
And the treatment plant will be able to treat both PFAS and the VOCs from the plume. So we're glad that that came up and OCTA stepped in and paid for it. And again, it's going to cost the ratepayers funding to do this instead of the polluters, you know.
Because the EPA declared the VOC plume a Superfund site, funding for cleanup efforts will either be paid for by companies responsible or the federal government. It remains to be seen if PFAS cleanup costs will also be addressed by the EPA or result in more expensive water costs.